Welcome to Clixed Off, brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check them out at LuckyDiceCafe.com. And now for your hosts, Daniel Powell, Jason Alvey, Alex Coos, and Tyler Speeds.
Hey everybody, welcome to the special Clixed Off episode today. This is your host, Sam Powell, speaking, and I just want to let you know that Clixed Off is brought to you by TrollandToad.com, world's largest HeroClix retailer. Find HeroClix new and old on TrollandToad.com and use the coupon code CLIXEDOFF for 5% off your HeroClix order. Merchant and pre-order items do not apply. So if you need those MOE chases, make sure you visit TrollandToad.com. If you like what you're hearing today on Clixed Off, check out patreon.com/ClixedOff. $1 and above gets entered into our monthly giveaways. $5 and above gets entered into our exclusive Discord server for HeroClix strategy and tactics discussion. So, again, this is a very special edition of the Clixed Off podcast. This is something new that we're trying. And I am joined today with two guys that I was pleasure of playing against over the weekend. And I am joined by the 2023 Tennessee State HeroClix champ, Zach Brazier.
What's up, y'all?
And then, hopefully I don't butcher his last name, Mr. Second Place winner, Nick Bellew.
Hey.
And so I got third, so we have 1, 2, 3 here. But this show is all about you guys. And to those that are listening, if you like what you hear and you kind of like this format, let us know. Something that I'm thinking about doing is I can interview some of the state winners or maybe second place, third place people, see what they're playing, see how their day went. I know the guys talk a lot of meta and stuff, so this is kind of just a different format we want to try. So if you like what you hear, send us a good message and maybe we'll keep doing this. So again, Sunday was a big day for us guys. We went to Tennessee. Well, Nick,
Yep.
You're already in Tennessee, right?
I am.
Okay. And do you play often at Frontline?
That was actually my second time at Frontline.
Cool. Frontline's a great store if you haven't been to it in Clarksville. Very clean, has a lot of product. Like
Lot of space back in the back where we played at, and I feel like the tournament ran pretty smoothly for the most part.
yeah.
Seemed fairly well organized. So
Yeah, I mean it was fun. So yeah, we had 8 players. I wish we had a bigger turnout. That would have been great, but we had a good time.
Was it
I
8,
think-
not 10?
What was it?
I think it was 10.
Was it
I
10?
could be wrong, though. I had thought so.
I thought it was
No,
8 because we had 4 tables.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 8 was ended up being the final number. But I think there was
Okay.
supposed to be a couple other people that didn't end up showing up that they were planning on maybe being there. But I know Ohio
That might have been
had
it.
their state tournament, with Origins going on like the day before. So I think that might have like drawn some people that way. But
Yeah, and I know Daniel and Jason went to Ohio, so they'll be talking about their states on the big show. So
also, I would like to go ahead and just shout out, congratulate Jalen on winning Ohio. Good
yeah,
job, bud.
yeah, pulled it out. I watched his final match. I don't know if you guys caught it, but he had the star card up and rolled a crit miss, which turned into a crit hit. So that was cool to see. That was really neat to see. So yeah, overall good day. Obviously Zach won and Nick became in second, and Nick beat me in top 4, which I'm still kind of salty about. I'm just kidding, Nick.
And you beat me first round of the
and
day.
I beat Zach for a day. So
hey,
it was
come on.
It was a good day. Like I learned a lot. And so For those that may not know, let's just go ahead. I'm just going to have Nick and Zach kind of introduce themselves, talk about when they started playing Clix and kind of some of their teams they like to play and maybe some of their major accomplishments. So we'll go ahead and start with Nick.
Okay, perfect. I started playing, I want to say right after Cosmic Justice came out, the OG set. I stopped playing around Secret Invasion, I want to say. And I took probably like a 10 or 12 year break. Started playing again about a year ago. And I've been playing since.
Wow. You're like OG.
Yeah, I played for a long time. I mean, I guess not as long as those who've played the whole time, but
yeah,
it's a different game than it used to be. That's for sure. Still kind of learning.
It was a different game a year ago. Let's be honest.
That's fair.
So, anything else you want to talk about? Like, what kind of teams do you like typically gravitate towards? Are you more of a defensive team, or are you more of an alpha?
I think I would say tentpole was kind of my preference for a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe less aggressive tentpole. I was pretty into like point denial, avoidance, things like that was always like super fun for me. But I feel like with the way meta is, like it's most teams nowadays are pretty aggressive. Yeah. And I think I've been really trying to learn how to play more forward, which is important nowadays, but I kind of play whatever is fun for me.
Nice.
I ended up playing a team a buddy of mine and me came up with at ROC a bit back, which was fun. Play 16 or top 16 rather on Sunday for the Silver Worlds, but got to run basically a Dolphin team, which was quite fun. The team up Aquaman, which is one of my favorite pieces.
Yeah.
Now, that Blackheart's Death Metal Wonder Woman and Gladiator Prime.
Oh wow.
Super weird team, but on the right map, which I won map, I believe, every game but one. So it was quite fun. So yeah, I guess really anything that's interesting and fun.
So did you ever get to play with the days of Goblin King? Not the Lord of the Rings Goblin King, but the What If.
No, I did not. No, I didn't.
Yeah, that was a piece that was definitely point denial, hard to kill. I have PTSD with that piece.
Okay, yeah. No, I think I saw it played at ROC. It might have been 3v3.
It's definitely when ROC came out, I was like, there's going to be a team that plays 300 point uni, a full point Goblin King, and a full point APOC. Like, it has to be. Like, that's just a go-to Highlander team right there. So
yeah, it seemed like fun. I've never actually played Goblin King, but I got to watch, I think Easton Brock played it, if I'm thinking correctly, on like 3v3s.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody played it. I could be wrong.
I want to say
but it seemed like a lot of fun.
Howard actually played him at like 175 pre-errata at like the Whiz Kids championship one year, and that was the year Howard won with Goblin King. But,
and that was the first year he was legal, I believe.
That's fun.
Yeah, he's a tough piece. He was just great. So, cool. Well, I mean, it's cool to hear that you started way back when and kind of took a break. Now you're back. So welcome back to the game. So
thank you.
It's a lot different than it used to be, but
quite a bit. But I'm glad to play again. It's always quite fun.
Yeah, it's always evolving, and I think that's what entices us. As much as we like to complain about WizKids not doing this and everything, but it's like it's always changing. It's not going to be stale, so that's good.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's go ahead. We'll go to my good old buddy, Zach. He's a teammate of ours with Clixed Off. So, Zach, if you want to introduce yourself, and I am going to put you on a time limit, Zach, because I know how you like to talk pretty long. So,
Yeah, I'll try to keep it quick. I've been on the show for it's probably been 4 years. I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it was at some point whenever I'd won the regional event down in Alabama, maybe, or something.
Mm-hmm.
For
Is that the one you won the
cup to
gauntlet?
get my.
Didn't you win like a rubber gauntlet?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I've still got that actually. It was something that Howard made, and I got like a free entry into the Rock Cup that year, as well as like a voucher to stay. Like, I went down there and I actually did good. That's probably like my best overall experience, because I played kind of like the who's who for the most part that day. Like, I had to beat like Dan Powell and Warren, and I don't remember. There's like a bunch of like big name people. I don't think I actually played Easton that day. I played PJ, I think, that day. Ended up playing him, but anyway, that was kind of a crazy um experience of mine. But anyway, I was on the show, I want to say, shortly after that event. Dan had me on and we talked about stuff. I want to say that was around the time that they introduced Mr. Chomps on the show, but
Oh yeah.
the HeroClix wrestling alligator there. But
Well, Mr. Chomps is retired, unfortunately. So we're trying to call him out of retirement, but he's not listening to us. So
yeah,
maybe
it's
I can.
hard to talk to a gator.
Who knows? Maybe I can call Mr. Chomps and get him out of retirement. I mean, maybe he's just mad at the guys. So maybe I can smooth talk him a little bit. So we'll see.
Maybe. But so for me with HeroClix, I started playing way back. I want to say it was around like 2004-ish originally when I first started playing, or something, if that's correct. It was around like Hyper Time. I played. I don't think I didn't get in right when the game kicked off. There was already some stuff out, a set or two, and some buddies of mine that I had been hanging out with and doing some gaming with at the time decided to kind of like check the game out, and I was like, sure, whatever. I'll try it out. And at the time, it was okay, but I really wasn't, there wasn't like a big scene for it. Like, there was just a couple of us like playing on our kitchen table or whatever, and so I'd gotten accumulated some pieces, but then just kind of had moved away to Tennessee for a while and like kind of got out of stuff. And then like whenever I moved back to Kentucky, where I live now, because I was born in Tennessee, lived there for part of my life, moved to Kentucky, lived there for part of my life, moved back to Tennessee, and then moved back to Kentucky. So I've been kind of actually back and forth. But anyway, so I got out of the Clix stuff and kind of sold all my original early stuff off. And then I want to say it was around 2010, 2011, maybe. I kind of started getting back into it and started playing at our local game store again with Jason and David, who used to be on the show, OG, and we ended up, I ended up kind of getting back into it with those guys. And I remember whenever I first came back to the game, there was the Superman Flashpoint set had like just came out. And there was like a 300 point. It was either 150 or 300 point, but it was a Superman. He was like a common. And I wanted to just play the game and try it. So I think Jason had like an extra one or whatever. And I was like, sure, let me just do that. I'll just play 300 point Superman. And so like that was my team. And I think I mostly just got my butt kicked, actually. It was like 300 point common. He wasn't protected outwit or like, didn't have like power cosmic, anything crazy. So I was just getting, outwitted and beat up on or whatever. But that kind of got me back into the game. And I've always been more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. I love Batman. That's my dude. That's my one. But I've always kind of enjoyed DC. I hate that there's not more DC sets in HeroClix. Hopefully that'll one day change, but in the meantime, we'll just enjoy our like 1 to 2 sets a year that we get.
I always think that, I remember we all of our discussions, Zach always says, if I get to ever build a figure, I'm going to build this ultimate Batman that could pick like 4 powers, be protected, outwit, like just insanely powerful Batman.
That is the dream.
That's the dream.
That is the dream. I was upset whenever I found out that the world champion doesn't really actually get to like build the clique. They just get to pick, and they don't get to like really pick the powers and stuff. I was a little bit disheartened by that, and it kind of made me not be as intent.
Zach really wanted to make like a Super Scroll, but like a Batman version of Super Scroll, but like better. And I'm like, how can you?
Kind of like, kind of like a zombie Super Scroll and Goblin King, but with a Batman. But like, I don't know.
With like 14 clicks of life, but only costs about 150 points.
Yeah. That's the idea. But
I'm not asking too much here, okay?
Right?
Just make it prime and it works.
There you go. Right.
Perfect.
I mean, I'd take that.
Okay. So Zach, you tend to like to play our point denial rollout teams.
I do. I like survivability and HeroClix. It's not necessarily that I like denying points. I don't like my stuff getting KO'd. Which I mean, inherently ends up being point denial because of that. But I feel like as long as my stuff's not getting knocked out, I'm winning the game. So that's kind of my.
That's a very valid point there. If anybody doesn't know how to play HeroClix, don't get your stuff killed.
Right. As long as your pieces aren't going off of the map and their pieces are, you're probably winning.
Logic.
It's kind of, simplified, but
yeah.
And my probably as far as like powers go, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like outwit, prob, stuff like that, but as far as powers go, man, shape change, super senses, imperv. Like that's my
just gotta roll them
magic
5s and 6s. Gotta roll them 5s and 6s, right?
Just gotta roll them 5s and 6s, and you can, any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Or
Zach,
whatever.
I don't think you realize how much of an effect you have on this game and like the community, because like when somebody rolls or like needs to roll something, they're like, I gotta Zach Brazier this right now. Like I gotta roll my 5s and 6s. And I mean, instead of saying I gotta roll 5s and 6s, they're like, I gotta Zach Brazier this right now. Like, and some people like have no idea who Zach Brazier is, but like they just say it.
I know Dan puts it out there, and Jason some, in the community or whatever. And I think I may have even heard like maybe PJ or Jalen say it before.
Yeah.
Just because of that. But yeah, I wish I could go to more big events and do more traveling and playing and stuff. It's expensive and time consuming. So I try to go to as much as I can. I took a little bit of hiatus during COVID because I personally am not big on the online scene. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and I'm really happy that like Brad and some of the people was able to keep the game going through COVID, and I really appreciate the work and the time and the effort that was put into that to keep the game alive through the pandemic. But just personally, even card games and other stuff I play, I'm just I'm not a tabletop simulator kind of guy. I'm actually at the tabletop kind of guy. So
you can't get those table props with online play, Zach.
Right? I mean, table props don't exist online. It's not a thing.
Wow. Zach, again, you know how I feel about you. We're good teammates. I've known you for a long
Oh, yeah.
time. We're buddies, and
Right?
we've had a lot
You
of great
should.
memories, and so um let's just jump right into Sunday. Again, this was Tennessee State's. It was in Clarksville, Tennessee. Um we had 8 players, so they did 3 rounds and a top 4 cut. Originally they were going to do top 2, and I don't know what changed their mind. So they went to a top 4 cut. So I mean, it was great fun. I mean, we had a good time. So um, I'll let Nick go first. If you want to just talk about, say, your team that you played. You don't have to go through all the tarot cards and all the equipment.
Sure.
But, just talk about the team you played, kind of how you thought of the team, and then talk about some highlights of your games. And again, just leave finals for the end, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay. So I ran Agatha Harkness, Trace, Arachnite at full points. I know it's weird, but it's what I did. Mad Gen, Felix Faust, and Saturnine. Basically just ran Arachnite with Necro, Soul Sword, bounced between what I had to.
Mhm.
Pretty straightforward team. I think I was the only one who wasn't, well, not for this, but wasn't playing Switch with that team, like overall. So I wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit. I think Agatha's fun. Very different from Scarlet Witch for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, just something I actually hadn't played that before. I had a team, I guess a version of this previous with Kazar, but I didn't think it was doing enough for the points that I was running him on.
And
So
I'll go,
the night before.
Yeah, Nick, real quick on the KSR thing, because when I was building my team, I was trying to go theme, and I
Yep.
had KSR on there, and I practiced it, and I was like, he's too slow. Like
He really is.
Like he's great in
Like,
theory on
he
paper.
has-
You're like, oh, this should work really good, but then you're like, to get everything flowing, it just took forever with Kazar. So, all right, sorry to interrupt, but just to note that's
no,
I was
you're
thinking the
you're
same thing too.
correct completely. I think. Yeah, he was really hard. Like even on a smaller map with a lot of hindering, he was just to trek all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have the ability to, at least with the vibe of this team, to kind of carry him up. So it just wasn't working for me, at least. I love the figure, but I just couldn't make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But by way of games, it was kind of a quick day. I feel like we didn't play as much as most of us hoped, I think.
No, it was quick.
Yeah. But I think, so me and you played game 3, correct?
Yeah,
it was game 3.
Round 3, because then we played top 4, so.
Yeah, right after. That was fun.
Yeah.
But I want to say the first game I played against was a Avengers swap team.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is super fun. That one was pretty close until the end, and I kind of pulled ahead and took the win. And that one was, I wish I had the sheets in front of me. I didn't prepare for this. But kind of a unique take on Avengers. It wasn't your typical like large pieces, I feel like.
He had a ton of figures.
So
like
Sam ran quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot that I keep track of. I don't envy that at all. It's too much for me.
Yeah, math is hard.
Yeah,
okay?
I don't. Yeah, I want 5 figures or less, and that's I can't count too high, so we're gonna go ahead and run with that. But then game 2, I played against a Carnage Surfer team.
Which was
that one
Tim.
went.
Yeah.
Which was my Tim, correct. I'm trying to think what his entire team was.
He had the absorbing man thing going on, didn't he?
He did. And he actually got that out pretty, I think turn 4, he got it into the game. But I think by the time he got it, I had already had Surfer dead
Yeah.
He had something else, another large piece, and I forget what it was. But by the time Absurd Man was close to where we were kind of duking it out, his team was kind of too far gone, I felt like. So I kind of just got to ignore Absurd Man until time ran out, which was helpful. I think that piece is underrated and scary strong if you hit it incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so by the time me and you played, we were both 2-0. And then our game, I lost map, which was not how I wanted it to start.
Yeah, that helped me for sure. He played
it didn't hurt.
Dark Side. He played Dark Side, the super rare Dark Side.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, with like the phase and attack, like the.
Yeah, he played the BTU Dark Side. So yeah, I went back
correct.
to build sheets. I wanted to make sure we pointed that out.
So. God, awesome. Yeah, that's a fun piece. I didn't expect that to get played, and I don't think I've actually ever played against it before, so that was interesting. But yeah, then me and you were game 3.
Mm-hmm.
That game did not go my way, as you might recall.
Yes.
Scarlet Witch which is what you ran. We ran very similar teams.
Yeah, we both did.
You also ran.
We both ran Arachnid
at 100.
I had Venom Mags and Carnage with Switch, and you had the Saturnine Agatha play. So. Yeah.
Both ran the Mad Jim and the Faust.
Yeah.
We had one figure different, basically.
Yeah.
That didn't go my way.
It was hard though. Like it really was a hard game. Like it was not easy.
No. We ran that at the time, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
we did. We ran it to time. We did not. I mean, I won because I killed your Faust and your Arachnite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was the only time my Arachnite died. By the way, made me sad.
I got super lucky there though. I was able to angle a certain way and rune, and then come in with my Arachnite. That's what saved me. So.
Yeah, you beat me.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
And of course, then it was like top 4, and then we had to meet again. I was like, well, this is gonna suck. Like, I am not gonna go 2 for 2 here. So
the fact that 3 minutes after our game ended, we knew we were playing each other. It was like, all right.
And then you crit hit the map, and I was like, well, this is going my way.
Yeah. Crit missed the map on game 1 versus you. Then crit hit map game 2 versus you. So that was fun. That's how my dice go, unfortunately.
We did have a hard fought game though. I mean, like,
we absolutely did.
I mean, it went your way towards the end just because I was just whiff, but I think we had back and forth pretty good there for a while. So
we were just trading shots for like the first half of that game.
Yeah, and
then like nothing happened.
Well then your Faust dice went like super hot. Like I'd be like, okay, let me try to outwit you like nice. 6, and then I'm like, okay, let me try to prop 6. I'm like, really?
That was the only game that happened too. By the way, he was I mean, I got a few, I think, on and off, but that was well timed to get a hot streak on those dice.
Mm-hmm. Felix Faust, I believe, is one of the most underrated pieces right now, just because.
Absolutely.
With the 16x16 map, his range is 8. You put him in the middle of the map, and there's nothing that says line of fire. It's just within his range.
No. Yeah, just 8 range. You could tuck him in an office corner behind, 2 walls, and you're in range.
Yeah. He's just super good for 30 points. So.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
So yeah, Nick beat me in top 4. It was a good time. It was. It was a
fun game.
It was a hard fought game. It was good. It was.
Yeah, I think that was much closer than game 1 for us.
Yeah, I mean, game 1 was intense. I think because we were kind of at a stalemate until like one of us got like the right angle, right move.
Yeah. We just jockeyed the whole time.
We kind of jockeyed until we got that right turn, But that second game, we was like, we're coming out guns blazing, and
Yeah. Which I don't know. It was more fun. It's like if I'm gonna lose again, at least I want to kill something.
Yeah, true.
Which did not happen game 1, if I recall.
I do have to say, Nick, you played some tarot cards that I had never, like, I read through the tarot cards, but, like, you know, you have your standard, like, 10 that you see played in, like, all these decks. And, like, Nick comes out with these tarot cards, and I'm like, I didn't even know this existed. Like, the stealth card, like, you place a piece of hindering, and if you have stealth, like, you can Voop 6. I'm like, where is that card? Like, can I not read?
Oh, yeah. The Page of Pentacles.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
It was
The one thing I think I did well with this team was the tarot was like my favorite thing. Like other than your team, which was very similar to mine, like the tarot that I played benefited me so much. And for the most part, nobody else in any like scenario got anything from my tarot.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is not common. Usually tarot can kind of shoot you in the foot if it's not your turn.
Exactly.
That's why I didn't play one.
I'm all for not playing them if I can get away with it, but
your tarot deck was phenomenal. I mean, on the way home, I even told Daniel, I was like, Nick played a tarot deck that was super beneficial to his team, and it helped me a little bit just because we were playing very similar teams. But
yeah, exactly.
And we all say tarot cards are a double-edged sword in the game because just when you think, okay, if it turns up on my turn, it's going to help me so much, but then it's also going to help your opponent. So,
no, I agree, and I feel like usually I perceive it as more of me being on the sharp end of that one, which is never fun.
Yeah. So yeah,
it's like the Star and the Empress. You know, yeah, it can help you, but it could also really help your opponent. You know.
Yeah, because when you have the star up and like someone comes to attack you, and they roll like a 2 and a 1, and you're like, oh, they miss, like because you're just like you relieved like they missed, and you're like, oh no, they hit. That's an 8.
They rolled an 8.
Yeah,
and it's like it's almost defeating. You're like, that's my card that I pulled. So
yeah,
they roll
exactly.
a 6 and a 1, and you're like, oh, that misses. And then you're like, oh no, that's a crit hit.
That's a crit hit. Yeah. So overall, Nick, I well fought games. I loved playing against you. Proud of you. You getting second. We'll talk about finals later, but your final match was intense. So we'll go with Zach now. So Zach, if you want to talk about your winning team here, the team that I did not want to face, but then I had to face round 1, so that was not cool.
You know, I feel like we travel sometimes, and it's like funny because there was only 2 people on our team there, me and you, and we ended up playing each other first round. And that's just like last time I think I went, which has been a little while, a couple of years ago, but last time I went like with Dan, just me and Dan went to like a tournament in Lexington. I think we ended up playing each other in like the first round. Yeah. So it just seems like that tends to be the way it goes. You just end up, if you travel with like 1 or 2 other people, you just probably end up playing one of them in round 1 or 2, you know.
I don't mind meeting you. I don't mind meeting you in like round 3 or 4 because that means we're like undefeated, you know, we're top table. But,
or we're both just really doing bad and it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, or we're like
we had a bad day and it's like round 4 and it's like neither one of us are making it. Let's just meet in the middle and punch, like roll some dice.
Yeah. So that's when I don't mind meeting my teammates, but round 1 I hate it because it's usually detrimental to,
Well, and honestly, after our game in round 1, I was really like, I don't want to say discouraged, but I felt like I was kind of in a bad spot because it was a low scoring game. I think I scored 45 points and you scored 60.
Yeah. That's how
like I think I killed your Carnage and like maybe Felix Faust.
No, Magneto. My Venom Magneto.
Oh, Magneto. Okay. So, and then on me, you was able to double KO Wonder. Like you were able to do enough attacks on Wonder Woman that you were able to knock her to her stop click. I brought her back. You killed her again, knocked her back to her stop click, and then killed her like all in the period of one turn. Like you just got a really hot turn.
But
And
I took a ton of mystics, by the way. A ton of mystics.
You did take a lot of mystics off of it, and I want to say you ended up popping her with like your Arachnite, or maybe you moved up Switch.
It was Felix or Switch that did it.
I think you knocked her to her stop click with Felix, and then I think you moved up your witch and popped her. Maybe Arachnite was the first one to knock her to her stop click or knock her off of her stop click with a flurry. And then I had to bring her back. Then you shot her with Felix to knock her back to her stop click. And then you came up and finished her off with your Scarlet Witch or something like that. But anyway, you were able to hit like all your rolls. And I think you even crit hit on one of those attacks. So I didn't even get to use my super senses. But
I did hit some super senses and shape changes. So that was also a saving grace.
Yeah, you were hitting your super senses like you were on fire that game. I think you hit super senses. I attacked, I want to say one round I got 4 attacks off because I got the free attack with the World's Finest, and I think I got my attack with Franklin and or maybe it was a flurry with Wonder Woman or whatever, and then the free attack. But I want to say you sensed out of every single one of my attacks that particular round. But I was just like, oh my God. Like, I'm not going to be able to hit nothing.
Well, like I said, after the game that, I just want to kind of give you a taste of what you give us. Like, you always hit your 5s and 6s.
And it is what it is, but that's that's how you survive. That's how you stay in the game, and you're able to clap back and get, those hard fought victories. But with our game, you came out like, I want to say you picked the map. I was able to place or whatever. I kind of had my pieces somewhat together, but I was like kind of like on the other side, like kind of behind a wall. But you had done really good about figuring out where to place your objects and stuff to be able to angle properly with that angler to get over basically to me that first turn and pop your rune to where I wasn't able to use pretty much any of my powers, and I had to like pick up my team and basically just move to like across the map, and wasn't able to like hypersonic with World's Finest or anything. And it really kind of put me in a weird spot because I had to like action token World's Finest and Wonder Woman to like get them out of there, so I didn't just get like ate up in the rune. So that that opening move really kind of put me on my heels for that game. And then I was able to, I think I got Carnage, your 10-point Carnage, so I was up on points. But then you were able to angle again, and where I was sitting at, I want to say you got my Wonder Woman in the rune, but you weren't able to get my Superman or my Franklin Richards.
I definitely but that's on me.
Well, no, I mean, you were set up really well. I mean, you had to put them where you put them, or you wouldn't have been. But there was like one edge of the map where I was like, if I go over there, I don't think she can completely get over here and ruin me in one turn. But like I said, I kind of messed up with my placement on my Wonder Woman a little bit, and I left her over one square. You were able to get her, and that's that was rough. But as far as my team goes, I'll just say like I was I'd been talking to Dan and Jason for a while now about playing World's Finest, because I was like, look, I don't really like want to mess with Scarlet Witch and trying to mess with positioning, and I'd actually been looking at playing like an Apocalypse team with which I like Chainsaw, I like Death Metal Wonder Woman or whatever a lot. I think she's an awesome piece. I like the survivability that she brings to the table, and the fact that you can like basically save one of your other pieces or herself from being KO'd. I've liked her since she came out, and then the World's Finest is just, especially at 175, and the ability, like at 175, it pretty much gets that 4 through 6 rollout against almost everything that's in the meta right now, except for maybe like 300 point Apocalypse, or there's like a handful of pieces, like maybe like 3 or 4 meta pieces that are like 176 points or more, because if it's 175, if it matches, I still get the 4 through 6 rollout with World's Finest. So, and I will say, through all the games that I played, World's Finest, Nick actually in the last round was the only one to get World's Finest to like my very last click. I thought he was about to pop him, but
I was hoping
we'll
so.
get to that. We'll get to that later.
I was hoping so.
We'll get to that later.
Damn it.
But yeah, first round I played Sam. So I played the 175 World's Finest. I had the 50 point Death Metal Wonder Woman with the wings, the Vaughn with the on her start click. She only takes maximum of 1 damage. And then I played the Franklin Richards that can equip, but can basically kind of pick whatever I need him to. And then at the end of the turn, you got to roll a d6 and deal him half that damage. I was, since before that, I was actually looking at maybe trying to get my hands on a Sicarian Iron Man, but I wasn't really sure if I was going to actually be able to go to Clarksville and stuff. So I kind of messed around and wasn't able to secure one to play. So I ended up going with Frank the Tank, and he did pretty well. I wasn't overall upset, but I will say he definitely was probably my weakest link on the team. And I had to constantly be careful about what powers I was picking with him and making sure I was getting, optimal usage out of him, because, the brightest stars burn the fastest, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I was able to get some really good plays out of him. I know in my second game, I was able to get like a running shot pulse wave off that was able to like kill a Magneto that was like the 25 point Magneto. In the second game, I played against an X-Men swap team.
Who did you play second round?
Paul.
Okay, Paul Waller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was playing an X-Men swap team with Professor X or whatever, and then of course at the start of the game he was just like swapping stuff in and out, and I was like, so I was trying to get him to kind of explain it to me, like which ones he was swapping for what or whatever, but then I was just like, all right, whatever, man, like just whatever you're doing, that's fine, just get them on the map so we can get started, because they were trying to kind of rush us to go through the rounds, which is fine. I realize you can't like take forever and you got to keep the pace going of the tournament or whatever. I will say that was the one thing throughout the day that was consistent. Pretty much all my games went to time because I was playing Don't Die Tech, and I don't have a ton of damage output or attacks. So almost every single one of my games, all of my games went to time. There was no board wipes or anything of that nature.
Went to time from just.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
I mean, I think the first round Tim was standing up. So I think, didn't Tim and Les play round 1?
Maybe.
Because I saw Tim walking around, but I think
I think it was Tim and Jeff, actually.
Yeah. Whatever. I think I don't think that game went to time, but I would say 95% of the games went to time, which
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that just tells you the state of the game, so that's good.
Well, there's just a lot of stuff going on. I mean, you got tarot cards, you got equipment swapping, you've got positioning and stuff with different things for like the angler and the free move with Felix Faust, and even with my team, I have to position to try to get my free attack off with the the World's Finest or whatever, and like figure out where I want to leave him sitting after hypersonic, because I want to try to get him into stealth. So they're games just right now I feel like do take a while, because there's just so many elements and so much going on in the game at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. So who did you play round 3?
Well, let me real quick.
Okay.
So round 2, I played Paul. I was able to get off like a pretty good pulse wave that like killed that Magneto and was able to do some damage. And I actually missed several of my attacks with World's Finest, but Wonder Woman was able to do pretty good in that game for me. I think I hit a pretty big blades roll for like 6 damage on something and just like one-shotted one of his pieces. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but so that, you know, huh?
So it's the best feeling, hitting a 6 on plates.
Right. It's just like, oh,
Just satisfying.
you know, right?
Even
Just
better
like,
is when you roll a crit hit and a 6 on blades.
and then you're doing
That's true.
7 damage.
Then you get a flurry to follow up.
Yeah.
I'll blade you for 7. So I mean, it was a good game and he had a lot of pieces, but like I said, I just was able to score enough points. I think I scored 115 off of him and he got 0 off of me. Like he was not able to kill any of my things. I think my Franklin went to his last click, but I don't think I think he went to his last click because of me rolling for damage. And then of course, if he goes to his last click because he rolled for damage, he just sits on that click. He can't pick powers again. But anyway, so I think that was the only thing. Maybe he got him down, and then I was able to keep him in the game and kind of position him away from the action.
Yeah.
Then my third game, I was playing against a guy that played like a Mystic team with Legacy Loki. And he had Faust, he had Mephisto, he had
Les Scanner, yeah.
I'm trying to remember what else he had on his team exactly, but
he had like he had a Scarlet Witch that was like a common Scarlet Witch, and
the one from it was the
Astro
one that was I think the Halloween Spooktacular one.
He had the Astro Strange.
Yep, that makes the Astrals.
He had something else. It was a really cool team. Unfortunately, against my game with him, the rune got to him and he couldn't really do anything. So,
well, without the rune, that Loki's pretty rough because he's got shape change and super senses on like a 3 through 6. Or something like that. Like he's unless you got a way like Necro Sword or something, and it's just it's kind of a rough. He's kind of a hard piece to kill. I had a tough time with him. I was able to kill it. Khazar was on his team. That was the other thing. We're talking about Khazar. He had Khazar, and I was able to kill his Khazar. I want to say I hit him. I ran up on him with World's Finest, if I remember right, and was able to like hit him for. I don't remember how deep Khazar is, but I think I like one-shotted his Khazar. If I remember that,
like
I don't.
5 clicks?
At 5, I think he's 5.
5 or 6. Yeah. I think I went to my ranged combat expert click on the belt, and I was able to like running shot because I was already off hypersonic. I think I was like able to running shot him for like 6 damage. Yeah. But you know, I think that's the thing with the World's Finest. I mean, you're sitting on 5 damage for like your first 3 or 4 clicks, like. And if you got the bat belt, you can get ranged combat expert, you know, and you have like a 13 for 6 or whatever.
I remember.
So, but now that was basically Les's team. He kept mind controlling my World's Finest though, and putting him in places that I didn't really want him to be. So that was a little frustrating. And he was like using him to hit my Wonder Woman, and then like. I would like take the Mystic's damage off of it because I was already off of my Invincible click, so that was a little frustrating to deal with. But
that's awesome.
The Loki pieces seems like a lot of fun.
Man,
I recall playing that when it actually came out, like the original.
Oh, like back in the day when it originally
Yeah.
before the legacy card even.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, he
super
sees
fun.
through hindering, so my stealth didn't matter. Batman was not hiding from that guy.
So, and then we went to top 4, and of course Nick and I battled it out, and Nick came out victorious. And then Zach, you played Tim, correct?
Yeah, if y'all want to talk about y'all's game in top 4 a little bit, I mean,
I think we already kind of did, didn't we, Nick? Unless there's
Little
something
bit.
else you want to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Nick
I
won
think-
I mean, our
map.
game went.
Yeah, he crit hit map and took me outdoors, and thinking back, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like maybe I shouldn't have came out. Like I should have just been more defensive. Like I already set up defensively. But you came out, and I was just like, oh, I got the shot. Maybe I do it. And I was like, you know what? You live once. So went out there and I just whiffed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I whiffed
YOLO.
every attack that turn. I was like, well, this is going to suck.
I think that game, that was kind of inevitable with our first, like, just constant back and forth, like missing positioning, missing. I feel like we had to just kind of go for it.
Yeah. And it was a hard fought battle. I mean, I tried to come back. I was almost there, but it was just too far gone at that point. So
I think the one thing that I really think helped me, that was kind of small, but ended up being a bigger asset, was playing on the Wayne Manor map with, like, Agatha being able to, like, bloop 4.
Oh, yeah.
Then Faust also moving 4. All of the terrain on that map, when you go from, like, starting area to, like, I don't know, 40% up towards the middle, every hindering is 4 squares apart.
Yeah, it was perfect.
So you can consistently stealth. Yeah, that map is great for that ability. You can go 4 and then you're back in hindering and you never have to leave it. So that was kind of something that I thought might help, and it definitely does.
Yeah, it did.
It didn't do as much against your team, but I think, like, any other team, like, I never had to leave stealth. Could consistently bloop around, could, pivot, and I was always in stealth until I left it.
Definitely. I know, I guess our first game, I took you to negative zone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a good time. But
Depends on who you ask, but it was a good time for somebody. Of course.
I think I taught Nick something, though. I don't want to say it on the podcast because, I mean, it might be me and Nick's little secret with negative zone. So.
Oh.
No, I mean we could talk about. I mean, if you
we
know,
can always keep them behind between us, rather.
If you know negative zone, go look at it and just go look at it. And if you want to know the secret,
and don't overplay it.
Yeah, don't overplay it. Don't overthink it. So if you're playing Switch, negative zone's a good map. So, of course, then I was playing Wakanda, too, like the 16x16 Wakanda, and I was like, oh, man, I want to play Wakanda. I was like, he's got Agatha. That's a bad play. I should not play Wakanda. So
we gotta rehash that out and play on Wakanda next time.
Yeah, let's say we did and not.
I just want to do over.
Oh, well, I mean, you got me in top 4. It was a hard fought match, but it was ultimately the end of my day. So, Zach, you played Tim.
Correct.
And so Tim was playing the dark side at 125, and he was the only person with a surfer. He with a surfer.
So the funny thing, well, I don't know if it's funny, it was interesting, but so I wanted to get rid of that surfer as soon as possible. So he won map. He chose to take me to the Ultron map. That's basically Ultron's face upside down or whatever.
That's
or like imprinted.
Super multicolored, and it's hard to see anything.
It is.
It really is.
But it's good for him because the dark side ignores elevation for line of fire purposes. So he can like hit you no matter where you're at. And he was playing that prime absorbing man that he like moves the squares together and forms the absorbing man and brings him out for free. And it makes it very difficult to try to move your pieces into profitable positions and still try to keep his absorbing man from coming out. Like, I wasn't able to do it with 3 pieces. Like, I think I stalled it maybe a turn longer than what he really wanted it to be. But yeah, he had the Yondu, the Cosmic Silver Surfer. He had the Star Sapphire, Hope, and Dark Side. And so I was able, though, luckily, my first play was I moved out. I was able to perplex up my range, I think, with Franklin, and I was able to move to where I was able to range combat expert off of like hypersonic and shot his carnage and was able to do like 6 damage to him right off the bat and just kill him because he missed his shape change and his super senses. So I got really fortunate in the fact that he missed both of those. And I was able to just basically immediately like one shot his carnage right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of, that put me up in that game, got rid of the carnage. He was still putting some work in on me with the dark side. He was able to outwit me because there's no hindering anywhere on that map. And I'd placed like my heart-shaped bush, and like that was pretty much the only hindering that I had. So, and it was like over close to my starting area. So there wasn't no hiding. That was just a fight.
Yeah.
Not a lot of tactical stuff going on, but I was able to, if I remember right, I was able to kind of wear him down. I killed his Yondu eventually a little bit later, and then I was able to kill his Hope, but I don't believe I was actually able to kill his dark side or I got his dark side down, but I couldn't finish him off. And then Absorbing Man was putting in some work on me for sure. I think I crit missed 2 or 3 times in that game. That was pretty rough because I remember the judge was handing out these, they were like envelopes. He had like a thing he was doing every time you crit missed. He would give you like an envelope with either a legacy card or something in it. And
Zach
he was like, "Oh,
all of them."
Yeah, I ended up getting the last 3 of them in the top rounds. I crit missed twice in the game against Tim, and then I crit missed again against against you in the final game. So yeah, anyway, but it was a good game. I want to say he was able to kill. I think he killed my Franklin, so I think he got 65 points off of me, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
10. But I don't think he was able to kill my World's Finest or my Wonder Woman. So I think he killed Franklin, and I could have brought him back, but I just let him go because I wanted to save it for in case, because he was putting in some pretty good work on World's Finest. And so I wanted to save it for in case he did knock him down, I could just use the Wonder Woman ability to bring him back. But anyway, so that's kind of how that game went.
Cool. All right. Well, before we get
and me and Nick.
Yeah. Well, before we get into finals, before we talk about the finals batch, just want to say to those listening, if you like to buy or sell off of auctions, please check out and join the HeroClix Cafe on the Auxxit link. Auxxit is a valued sponsor of the Clixed Off show and is a great place to buy, sell HeroClix with weekly auctions. So make sure you check out Auxxit if you're looking to find a good deal on MOE chases, Karn surfers, all those good stuff. So anyway, let's go to the finals match. Which, by the way,
is there a good deal on Carnage Surfers? I'm just wondering.
Well, honestly, Jason said that somebody got a steal on eBay. Got a surfer for like $167.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
That is a deal.
Somebody got a steal. Like, yeah, he's up there for sure.
Yeah,
so
not cheap.
He's not. I don't think anything right now is cheap HeroClix wise. Like,
no, you're not wrong. At least
Faust,
he's common. Like there's so many.
Faust
my
is like
team was
$40,
fairly
like,
budget.
It's crazy.
My team was fairly budget, but like even I don't know exact cost, but like I would say my team was probably around $200, give or take, between the world's finest with the car, the Wonder Woman, the utility belt, and the golden armor.
Yeah.
Franklin's nothing. I mean,
yeah, you
can probably get him for like $5.
And you didn't play with tarot cards. Like, you play a very budget friendly team. I mean, if you have the world's finest from the set back in the day, and you can get the
even
card.
Without them, I think the world's finest, even if you just buy the piece, like you can get them for less than $100.
Mm-hmm.
I think for even on just buying them off of eBay, or if you find somebody that's got one,
Zach,
I think
you probably raised the price. You probably raised the price at least $150.
maybe.
I would think.
So let's get to the finals match. I just have to say this. I watched this match in person. It gave me like heart palpitations many times for both of you, because I was like, I want Zach to win because he's my teammate, but I was like, man, I want Nick to kind of win because like we had such a good game. He's got a great team, and I kind of want to see Agatha win. So it was like, I don't know who to go for, like, but it was intense. So you guys could talk about it, and go from there.
So Nick,
Zach,
well, I was gonna say, Nick, you won the map, or the roll off for the map.
Yeah.
Initiative. It's called initiative.
Right.
Initiative.
One initiative. So I forgot what the map was. Vendors. What was
played?
You played on the same map.
We played on Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he took Batman to Wayne Manor, by the way. If you put that
right.
I didn't even make that connection. Actually, I never realized that.
That's what happened. You took Batman to Wayne Manor, and then
that's a good point.
Wayne Manor. I was honestly, my nerves were shot at that point of the day, and I was frazzled, and like I just had that, I don't know. I was kind of on an adrenaline rush, and so I was like just focused more on positioning and trying to survive. One more game. Like.
Yeah, no, for real.
No,
I think it was. I mean, I had fun. We had a hell of a game.
It was definitely, there was some back and forth. I came out and I tried to make a move, and I kind of came out in position, and I had. World's finest with Franklin kind of like right there beside him. You were able to kind of come up with Agatha and outwit me, and then just like start putting in work with Arachnite, and you hit me for like, I want to say 6 or 8 damage right off the bat. Like I soaked up a little bit of it, but I missed both my 4 through 6 rollouts to just take one.
Yeah.
And so you got like, I can't remember. I think you flurried me. I don't think you had like a damage boost, but you came up and flurried me with the Arachnite.
Yeah, I think it was outwitted and then charge flurried.
So that really hurt and put me kind of in a bad spot. Right off the bat, because I didn't hit either one of those rollouts. But Wonder Woman wasn't far away. I had her like kind of off a little bit to the side, and was able to, after you got that kind of big turn, You had knocked me to my Outwit click on World's
Mhm.
Finest. I think I had like Outwit, Hypersonic, Imperv showing.
Yeah, like what, 5 damage, I think.
4. I think I was on 4 damage at
Is
the
it
time.
4? Okay.
And so, I was just kind of sitting there, and I want to say with Franklin, I can't remember if I did support with Franklin right then. I think I outwitted, I want to say I outwitted your Arachnite's outwit maybe. And then I used my outwit from World's Finest to try to outwit your super senses with on Agatha. But
Yep.
then I tried to swing and I crit missed.
Yeah. You did
And
get
I
a
was
Lucy
just
card
like,
for that, though.
So
Yeah.
after that, I ran off. I think I was on the Batman utility belt, the one that gave me the shape change at that point and the ignore characters for movement. And I just kind of like
Mhm.
ran off back over to the corner to lick my wounds.
Mhm.
Try to heal up. I was over by the heart-shaped bush, but I was like double tokened. It was kind of a rough spot. But then I came in with I want to say I came in with Wonder Woman and a charge. I think I hit your Agatha maybe and did like 3 damage to her or 4 damage to her.
Yeah, you hit her for a chunk. I think it was 4.
So yeah, I hit her, but it wasn't enough to kill her. And then you were just kind of like, because you still had Agatha and Arachnite the next turn, and then you were able to just kind of like double team my Wonder Woman with both of them. Franklin wasn't doing a whole lot at that particular moment. I think I had him on like Outwit, maybe.
Invincible, I think.
I think
like
I had,
Outwit.
yeah, I know I had Invincible. I think I'd picked Outwit, Invincible, Shape Change that turn because I didn't want him to just get like ate up by Arachnite.
Global, basically. Yeah.
And you had, but which maybe I didn't pick. I don't think I actually picked Shape Change that time because you had the the Necro Sword on him at that time. Right. So I don't think I picked Shape Change. Maybe I picked Impervious, actually. I think I picked Impervious instead of Invincible just because you had the Necro Sword and it would at least give me a rollout. But something like that. So, but then you were able to kind of knock Wonder Woman, I think, like that first turn. I want to say you knocked her to her stop click because you hit her with, I want to say you hit her with Agatha and you knocked her one, because she only took the 1 damage because of the armor. And I think you knocked her over to her next click, and then I want to say you flurried her, maybe with Arachnite.
I think I did. I think with that I missed my first and hit my second.
Sounds right.
If I remember right.
Yeah,
stop.
Yeah, that's when you missed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was, and it wasn't even crazy. I was like, I think it was like 6 to hit, and I rolled like was it a 2 and a 1, and then like a 3 and a 1?
Something,
like you couldn't even like Saturnine it, like because you were like, I can't even Saturnine this.
Yeah, I remember you saying
that. And I was like, I think I needed like a 6 with Saturnine, and I couldn't roll a 6 twice.
Yeah, that was bad, but I have to say, Wonder Woman was on her stop click for so long in this game.
Well, he knocked her to it, and then I was able to steal energy and heal her up when I think that was when I killed Agatha, maybe.
I think so.
I think I hit her. I think I was able to hit her with her on her one of those flurries. I think it was the second flurry attack. I was able to hit her, and
she's hitting for like 12 for 4, steal energy and flurry.
Well, I healed up, but then I took a Mystics, and then I went back to my stock click.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she had stop click like 4 times that game. I would hit you again, and then just couldn't get past it.
Something like that.
She's a
But
fun
well,
piece.
there was one round in there in between because I had to clear, and then you tried to hit willpower because you were double tokened also at that point. So I think the next round, was like a clear round for me and pretty much a clear round for you. You missed a bunch of willpowers. I remember saying something about those guys are never going to be Green Lanterns with that lack of willpower. I remember commenting on that.
1 willpower the whole day. I think out of 5 games, I hit 1 willpower, which is something I do. That's so common for me. It's unfortunate.
See, I can't hit
willpower. I cannot hit.
I can't hit leadership. I can hit willpower sometimes, but I can't hit leadership to save my biscuits, man. Like I'm terrible at rolling leadership.
Yeah, I get that. Like I played the ruler dolphin team, like I was saying at ROC, and that whole thing with Gladiator and Blackheart was the fact that I made top 16 of that team, considering I can't roll leadership, was a miracle.
Yeah, because you need that leadership role for sure with Blackheart.
Yeah, Blackheart's.
Yeah.
Crucial. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. The one team I shouldn't have played, just out of my own ability. It's
probably important with Aquaman as well, right? But I'm just saying, with Blackheart, you
Gladiator
really...
as well.
Yeah.
Gladiator needs those sheer soldiers.
Yep. But yeah, basically, so in our game after that round, we cleared, and then I was able to, I think, go to the region click. I think I chose not to roll for the belt the turn I cleared because I knew the region click was coming up. And if I remember right, I think I regened and then moved back up.
You picked
and
support.
You had outwitted.
You picked support with Franklin a couple times there.
Yeah. Well, I think I supported him after I moved back up. I want to say I regened and then I came back up and you chose outwit with Arachnite and had outwitted my Wonder Woman's super senses, maybe.
Still energy.
Or still
energy
maybe
towards the end.
You outwitted the still energy, so I couldn't try to heal back up. So I regened, moved back up, and then used my free attack to try to attack. And I think that's when I actually was able to, I hit your Arachnite and I want to say knocked him to his stop click, or no, you'd already taken some mystic damage from hitting my Wonder Woman. So you were on your stop click or the click right after your first stop click because you'd taken some mystics from Wonder Woman. And so then I was able to hit you, I think, for I want to say it was 4, but you had what's invulnerability? I think you had invulnerability showing maybe at that time.
Yeah.
He got right after he that first stock click.
Yeah, he's hitting it. I think it's invuln, stop click, invuln. That's willpower, stop click.
I think you were on your invuln click right after the stop click.
I think so.
I hit you, and you took a 2, and it knocked you to the willpower click. Maybe after that,
which I
maybe
missed.
that was when you were missing missing some of those willpowers. But anyway, but after that, then I used support with Franklin and went ahead and healed World's Finest back up because I think I only rolled a 2 on my regen roll, and then I think I healed him another 2 or 3 off of Franklin's support. And
it was
then
back-to-back 2s.
Maybe it was 4. Yeah, I was 4. I wasn't on top. I know I didn't get all the way back up to top click, but I was close to top click.
Yeah.
I think I got back to my invincible clicks at least.
Sounds about right.
And then I was able to, I believe that's when I was able to swing and kill Agatha with the Wonder Woman. But then, like I said, I healed up because I killed her. I got I think I had I outwitted your outwit or something like that to where I got my still energy back. Because I remember I healed back up and then I just went right back to stop click because of the mystic steam ability.
Yeah.
There was a turn where I do remember your Wonder Woman was on last click, and Nick had picked Flurry, and you missed. He hit the. Oh, I think he missed the first attack, and then he rolled the second attack, and he hit, and you rolled the Super Sense. And I remember like,
Yeah.
Right.
really.
Well, because at that point he had switched off, because that's what he did. He used
You switched to
Mad
a Soul
Jim.
Sword. Yeah, you switched to the Soul
Yeah,
Sword.
he switched to Soul Sword because he was worried about me, because I'd knocked him back. I'd came up and knocked him down with World's Finest, I think. So he switched off. He switched over to the Soul Sword, so he would have more resiliency.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely needs that once he takes a little bit of damage, I think. And I do think, am I correct? Did I pop your bringing back to life ability on Wonder Woman? Because I KO'd you early on, I
Yes,
think.
yes,
Not
you
early
did.
on, but
It was
midway.
like,
and then you were
turn
back to
4.
full.
Yeah,
it was
it
like
was,
turn
yeah.
4.
yeah, it was turn 3
I
or turn 4 that he popped your Wonder Woman and you revived her. So,
I did.
Yeah.
and like I said,
And then you were
he
going
was
to
on-
town with Arachnite. Huh?
And like I said, you
Oh,
were
no,
stop
just-
click for ever. Like it just kind of moved,
Yeah.
healed up, back to stop click, healed up, back to stop click.
Yeah, that was frustrating a little bit, but she's such a fun piece. And I don't know, her ability to heal somebody back to full, or anti-KO or whatever, but she can definitely hold her own.
Yeah.
I
She's
do
more than
remember
just,
later I was picking up poison and outwit with Franklin, and I was trying to poison your Arachnite. And one of the turns I picked poison, I forgot to use it, so
which we all realized later.
I missed my trigger. They reminded me of that after the game, and I was like, yeah, I realized it the next turn, but it was already a little too late. But so I was able to get a little bit of poison damage on him that way. But you actually were able to knock my World's Finest, and I don't remember the exact way that it happened, but I think you flurried me, and I want to say I maybe hit one of my rollouts on a 4 through 6. I think I hit it and I only took 1 damage, but then you hit me again and knocked me to all pretty far down my dial, not all the way to the end, but and then you came up and you shot me with Felix. And I think Felix actually did 2 damage to me, because I want to say I was on 3 clicks. You did 2 damage to me, Psyblast, and put me on my very last click. And I was like, oh my gosh. and then I supported again with Franklin, and I was able to support him back up one more time to where I think I healed 2 more again, and went back up to that start of where I had Super Senses, Invincible, and Protected Outwit.
Yep. I will say, I don't think I've ever done so much damage and gotten 0 points.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like
that's the one thing that team can do, man, is soak up some attacks and soak up some damage.
It really can. I think for the amount of damage I put out in that game, the fact that it wasn't 300 to 0 is just mind blowing. Just so many clicks and just back to full over and over.
Yeah, it was
super fun.
Yeah, it was definitely the only thing, Nick, that I thought about on the way home, and I think we talked about it after the game, was maybe getting Agatha up there to drop her rune.
Yeah, I think I should have.
And then
I had a lot of.
If you would have done that, maybe then go after World's Finest because he moved up. I mean, again, he still gets his 4 through 6 roll, but I mean,
I missed it the first 2 times.
If you can land, I mean,
yeah,
soaked up, you would have done 8 damage to him, right? Because we have 4. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he couldn't have charged and flurried into the rune. That was the other thing. I think he was trying to.
I'm thinking if he would have TK'd and then placed his rune where Arachnite would have been outside, because he had the Necrosaur, so he has a giant reach of 2.
Right,
so,
that's true.
I mean, he could position Agatha's rune where, World's Finest was on the edge or, a square in.
Yeah.
And you could have been outside.
Top of the box and reach 2.
You take that chance of he rolls 4 through 6, then you're in the same boat that you were in, but like,
Yeah, exactly.
that's kind of the only way of maybe getting through a World's Finest at 175.
I
Yeah,
will say
that was
my main thing with the team was I was trying to figure out a team that could get ruined and it wouldn't just get murdered in the room. And so that was one of the reasons I decided to play World's Finest and the Wonder Woman, because they're like 2 of maybe 4 or 5 pieces in HeroClix that have a way to survive being rune blasted, you know, with the rollout and the bring back from death. Franklin's just like 12 clicks deep. I mean, he's just a deep dial. The rune still hurts him, but like I was gonna say, going back to my original, I'd wanted to play Sicarian Iron Man, but I wasn't able to get a hold of one. He's another piece that has the ability to withstand a rune onslaught as well and can pick powers. So you know, hindsight, other than, you know, just maybe having like some kind of a tarot card deck, if I could figure out one that would just benefit me mostly and not my opponents. I would say the only difference I maybe would have tried to do, like I said, was play Sicarian. But Frank the Tank, he held up. So, you know, I think he was a good alternate.
Nick, do you want to add anything to the final match there? Any?
I mean, we covered quite a bit, but the one thing I will say was, like, I really enjoy tentpole teams, and I think A, was done very well, but B, I didn't expect him to be as strong as it was. So I think definitely with Zach playing it like insanely well, I really just didn't. I don't say I didn't know, but I didn't know. Like I underestimated that figure so much.
Yeah.
And it's a fun one. I mean, and you're playing it like it's, you know, being one of Zach's favorite pieces, just played it very well, and it's fun. It's a good, strong piece.
Nick, that team is so Zach. Like, if you just know our group, it is a Zach team. It is a...
Yeah, so you guys were saying. No, a definite underestimating, but fun piece.
One of my favorite teams of all time that I played back in the day was Bizarro, Lydia Maylor with the Bat Belt, or the Infinity Gauntlet, the original Relic Gauntlet that had the 6 gemstones and stuff from like back when Relics first came out and were introduced into the game. That was actually one of my favorite teams to play. Was the Bizarro, and then I played it with the hammers and stuff too, a little bit, but just, you know, Lydia Maylor, I'm gonna steal one of your pieces, one of your relics. It's hers now, and then, you know, I love stealing somebody's hammer, like taking their still energy hammer so that they didn't have a full hammer squad. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But I've always enjoyed playing teams that are like survivable, hard to kill, you know, have good withstandability. So I appreciate you, you know, recognizing that, and maybe you give World's Finest a shot yourself. Sometime.
I mean, no, I definitely need to.
So
I remember when
go ahead.
the original World's Finest came out, there was I think it was released by like buying a case. I don't know if you guys remember like the original 2x2.
It's a 2x2 with like a tiny Batman and Superman on it.
Yep. Yeah. But I remember playing that way back in the day, and that was like one of my favorite pieces for the longest time. So you playing that, Zach, was super fun.
Kind of a throwback. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I got to play against you, so I appreciate that.
It was a good game. I had fun. It was intense, man. I will tell you, I was mentally and you know, my nerves were shot, but I had a good time, and you know, I think you played very well. Like I said, other than maybe like y'all were talking about ruining, Like, right off the bat, I felt like you played really well, moving up, outwitting my defense, and then coming in for the flurry. I mean, you definitely came out and you punched me right in the mouth. I was like, oh shit, like, what do I do here? Like, I was like, so it definitely made me have to be a little bit more defensive than I had been in like the previous game. So,
No, for
kudos
sure.
to you for that.
Thank you.
We have a lot of questions on Facebook. So just kind of jumping in those. So the one other question was, like, how many turns did you guys get on the final match? And I was trying to think about this. I know, Nick, you did shuffle your tarot cards, so it had to be 7 or 8 turns you guys got, I believe.
Yeah, because I think I ran 6.
Yeah, you ran.
Yeah, I ran 6.
Yeah.
So I think I burned through 3 tarot again. So I think it was like 8.5, 9 turns.
Yeah, it had been up there.
Or 9.5, rather.
Yeah, there were, and I guess the thing is, like 2 or maybe 3 of those turns were just like clear turns, but
we did have a couple at the end. That's true.
But most of them we were doing stuff. I mean, there was interaction. Like I said, I kind of got smacked right up the front and I kind of backed off, but then I came back in there. I didn't just like stay away or whatever, So
no, you came back and smacked Agatha super hard.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think she was gonna die, realistically. I don't know. Whenever I play Agatha, I feel like she's typically untouchable, and she's always. I think up until Sunday, that was, I don't know, however many games before with Agatha, she was like across the board 0 damage. So like her getting smacked around that hard and that quick caught me off guard too.
Yeah, that 5 damage or 6 if I got ranged combat expert like right off the top. I mean that can really do some damage. I mean, you can just straight up KO a lot of pieces with that. Like if they don't have a stop.
No, you really can. That's the one downside to her. And once she gets past her senses clicks, it just turns into like stealth and willpower, and she's, I don't want to say done for, but she's not quite what she was. Yeah.
So another question, since Zach didn't play tarot cards, me and Nick can answer this. So we played tarot cards, and I think a lot of people did play tarot cards. Which ones made the biggest impact for you, Nick? I have one in particular for me, but
I think the 2 for me that were like, I don't know, definitely the Page of Pentacles was probably my biggest one, and that gives me the placing character and hindering within 6 squares for that team with how mobile they are, rather, was pretty big if I got the right map. Our first game, that card did absolutely 0 for me, but game 2 with all the hindering made a big difference, I think.
Huge difference. Yeah.
And then the 6 of Pentacles, the mind control. After resolutions, you can deal their printed damage to everyone hit, which was fun. I didn't get off too many mind controls with Agatha, but I got off a few. So I think that could have done a lot more, but it was still a fun one.
I think the one for me that helped me most during the day was the charge +2 card. I'm not sure which one it is. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember just using that a lot because with Arachnite being able to have charge, with a TK from Venomags,
then adding
2 TKs from Venomags, like I didn't have to choose
cross map
at that point.
Yeah,
I could keep my charge.
Nope. Yeah, I mean you can charge for 7 with flurry, double TK.
Yeah. So that was one of the tarot cards that was impactful for me. So we had questions about, like how big of a problem was Scarab, and like, did we ever play a Scarab? I didn't see any Scarabs at this event. Did anybody else see a Scarab?
Scarab was not a problem because there was 0.
No.
Yeah, I don't think there was a Scarab team.
I mean, my take.
I don't think anyone there hated themselves enough to play Scarab.
Exactly, Nick. Like, I think he's bad for the game right now. It's awful.
I mean, I don't know. Like Gen Con maybe, but I'm like it's Tennessee States. We weren't one of the biggest ones.
No.
Like I don't know. I found it. I would have been like, that's a little much, to be honest. But
I mean, going in, I was thinking, okay, we're gonna have some people from Huntsville, like, and I was thinking,
yes,
okay,
we all thought the same.
I'm gonna see somebody Carter Surfer. We're gonna see this, and we just didn't. Like, I mean, it was a very wide complexity of teams. You know, we already talked about what we faced, and yeah,
I feel like there was a lot of. I feel like there was a lot of fringe meta pieces that were like stuff that's not quite meta, but like still something that's probably a little bit too good to play on like a fun night at like a local event, you know? Like stuff
I
that's
agree,
like...
I agree.
We did see some MOE chases. There was a Dark Phoenix.
We saw a few, yes.
Saw a few of those. So, I mean, definitely that's good.
Yeah.
Jason Phillips wants to know, did either of you have fun? Honestly, the good and the bad.
I had fun in every game. I think the fun can be, you know, or I guess it could differ depending on the outcome, but regardless, the games that I didn't win or, you know, had a hard time with, I still learned quite a bit. So I think, I mean, I'm all for learning. It's quite fun to grow while you're playing and realize that that's what's happening.
No tables were flipped on Sunday, so I think everybody had a good time.
Oh.
Right. I would say, honestly, the game that I probably had the least fun in was actually the game against you in the first round, Sam. It's not because I lost, but it was just because, like, I couldn't do anything like the first turn. And then, like, I just felt like that whole game, I was just like, I felt like you honestly just outplayed me in that game. I mean, I'll just say, like, I just felt like you outplayed me in that first game of the day. But I will say, I think because of that game, I learned a little bit and was able to use, you know, that as a catalyst for me to, you know, really, like, you know, get my head right for the rest of the day. I was
just trying to help you learn your team first round, so
it was good, and I'm glad we played. And like I said, it's not that I didn't have fun, but that was probably my least fun game that I had.
I think Nick and I's round, both of our games were just fun, just battles.
I agree.
Our first game was more strategic, I would say. But
I feel like game one was just grappling back and forth.
Mm-hmm. I took a chance and killed your fouls, and I was like, if he rolls a super sense, like, this is gonna suck. But
I know. Yeah, that was a good move. No, I mean that you got, was it turn 3? You took Faust out.
I think it was turn 2.
And then just was it turn 2? Yeah. Then you just got to reset with, you know,
then
being
I got
up
to kind of go back
one
to
figure.
And
yeah, no, that was huge.
Yeah, and then just seeing that line, because you came up with a Rack Knight and then kind of, or maybe it was Agatha and Voot back, or you had the stealth card up, so you're able to Voot a Rack Knight back. Like, you came up and tried to take a shot, and then you Voot back, and I was like, if he Voots back to this square, I'm gonna be able to rune him. And you didn't go to that square, and I was like, and then I was able to see how to get that rune. Angle to get that rune, and I was like, I've got to go for it. Like, this is it, you know? This is my one gusto.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think I had I ended up double tokening after, like, you know, turns, was it 3 and 4 maybe? But I know there's the 2 where I perplexed up Agatha's range to 9 and then, like, blooped up and missed both on which was just like, took those big shots. If any of those would have hit, it would have been better for me, or less painful for me. But
it would have definitely changed how I would have had to play. But that's why I go to a 21.
Yeah, just I mean, running that double, triple perplex, and, you know, double, triple prob, which we both did for the most part.
Sure.
Just huge. 20 defense every time, 21 every time.
So
a bit of fun.
Let me see here. So it said, would love to hear Zach's thoughts on why Death Metal Wonder Woman was chosen over MOE chases. And I can answer that. It's because he didn't have any MOE chases.
Well, that's part of it, and honestly, Death Metal Wonder Woman can bring back bring back World's Finest.
World's Finest, yeah.
I mean, so MOE chases have survivability to in and of their own self, but they don't have the ability to bring back other things. And I was mainly focused as a tentpole type build of keeping my tentpole alive as long as possible. And then, of course, if World's Finest did get popped, I had Batman and a Superman to pull out and try to make the best of a bad situation. But that was mainly the main reason. And I really like that piece. I think she's really good. Even on the other team, I was thinking about playing with her and Apocalypse and Mad Jim Jaspers and the Wolverine that can't die as long as you've got a figure that shares the keyword with him. That was the other team that I was thinking about possibly playing. But because it's more runeable, I decided to go World's Finest. Yeah. So with the Wonder Woman.
He also had the question, what is or was the plan or play to get past heavy barrier stop sign teams?
For me, flipping the table, but I didn't play any of those, so didn't have to.
My plan was to pick up the barrier with Superman and smash their piece with their own barrier.
There you go.
That's fair.
That's very fair.
And touching back on the Death Metal Wonder Woman, in Zach's defense, like I would have rather played against a Phoenix or something, whatever it would have been. And I mean, I don't know. I would have probably killed that pretty quickly. I think that Wonder Woman for you, the way you played it, she did so much, whether keeping herself alive or just hitting for a literal fuck ton. Like, I think she did more for you than a Wonder Woman or Wonder Woman, Phoenix or a, Killmonger could have done.
Yeah, for sure. Because her only taking 1 damage, she's got Mystics, and like she's got a flick, and then she can revive herself. Like, whew.
Yeah, and then just
senses on a 4 through 6.
Senses on 4 through 6, like gosh.
If she's on her stop click,
12 attack flurry.
If she's on her stop click with her 19 and you just straight up miss her, or I roll a 4 through 6 senses, you take a damage off of that. Like, yeah, she's just
No, I think she's overlooked. Like, she was hyped and she got expensive for a while. I mean, she's down to what, $50-$60 versus the $130 she was at for the longest time. I don't know. I think there's enough like hotness to where people ignored it, but she's so good.
She got hyped there because I remember like we went to Florida and it was like everybody wanted to play her because she's so good. And then Soul Sword kind of hurt a little bit because I don't know, that was my take, but then everybody was just like, well, there's other good pieces now. So, but for Zach's team is definitely beneficial for this Wonder Woman to be on.
Originally, too, the Wonder Woman, if you had multiples of her, you could use her effect for each one you had. It wasn't just for all of them total. You get one bring back. So if you played like 3 Wonder Women, you had 3 come back from death abilities stackable. Like when she first came out, that was kind of the way that it was read or whatever that it was going to be. But then I think they eroded it fairly quickly after that. I don't know if she actually got to be played.
Made it unique.
But right.
Yeah. So, and then, Zach, why no mystery cards for World's Finest or Destroyer Prime on your sideline?
So Destroyer Prime probably could have been a good option. I didn't have one, and once again, it was one of those things. I wasn't for sure if I was going to go to this tournament. It wasn't necessarily a last-minute decision. I was kind of, weighing my options. But anyway, I live 2 hours away from Clarksville. The tournament kind of started, whatever, I wasn't like, do I want to get up and go? And, I'm glad that I went, obviously, but I was kind of unsure up until about like the Friday before the tournament that I was going to even for sure go. And some of those pieces, like I just personally don't own that piece. So, I would have had to try to either trade for it or borrow it from somebody or whatever. So that's the main reason. Destroyer probably would have been safe enough. I mean, he's hard enough to just like be able to kill in one turn that I don't think he would have just gave up points. But
watch out,
at the same time,
he can be killed easily with some of these flurry pieces. If he can,
right, with like Carnage Surfers and stuff, you bring them out, I mean, or whatever, you get like 2 Carnage Surfers just going to town on him, or whatever. Like there's things, and like I didn't want to give up points. I mean, that was really the main thing.
Yeah.
As far as sideline figures or not really call-ins, but that's kind of what Destroyer kind of is. He's kind of a call-in without being a call-in, so that's that.
And Kurt Thomas said, for Zach, what went into the decision for using Franklin? I think we already kind of touched on that. He said, he's very usable with many powers, and I mean, I know
he's deep.
He's deep, 12 clicks deep. I know you said you'd rather play a Saki, but the unavailability was there, so
I didn't have a Saki, and I think overall Saki's probably a better option for the team. But Franklin, like, I mean, in this event with not as much top tier meta and like more fringe stuff, I think Franklin was fine. I obviously he did well for me. I think he got KO'd maybe in 2 games out of the 5 I played through the day. Maybe just 1 actually, but I just I just think that he still gave me kind of what I was looking for, the ability to pick powers so that I could choose like TK, and then he also gave me like a third attacker in a pinch if I really needed him to. He was utility, and he's got
for this tournament he was very much a good support piece for you.
Right, and he was able to do what I needed him to as far as like using support and stuff. Like that's the one thing that I wouldn't necessarily get out of Sicarian Iron Man is the ability to support up World's Finest from another piece. I mean, I'd still have the regen off the bat belt, but
So so we have 2 more questions.
But also
here. Go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say the Franklin survived longer than a Sicarian would have, for what it's worth.
And that's very true.
I mean, in certain matchups, Franklin was probably a better option in certain matchups.
No, definitely.
I think Saki just offers that reach of a good like alpha attacker if you need it. Like he adds a little bit more oomph of an attacker than Franklin, but Franklin's definitely good for that.
For sure.
Support. Like he's that outwit, perplex, shape change. Like I'm gonna try to stay alive, but I'm gonna be that perplexer, the outwitter for you, and prob, and
just jack of all trades,
master of none. So,
and I love picking powers. It's my favorite thing to do in the game of HeroClix.
like picking powers. So we have 2 more questions real quick. We'll start with Nick. It said, why did you choose Arachnite at 100 over 60 points? And what differences did that make, for your strategy?
That's a good question. I think for me, I wanted to play that team like hyper aggressive, and I think Arachnite at 60. I mean, you're past your high defense. Like starting with prob is great, but I mean, I think he starts at like it's a 60-point dial. I think it's like a 10-11 or 10-12, like 18-3. I mean, I don't know. I think running 2 of them with, Soul Forward, Necro, whatever, is more beneficial. But I think he's overlooked, like, just throwing him into the fray. like if you can keep him stealth or outwit, he can do so much and survive for so long. I think for me he's definitely more fun at 100 points.
And
you don't have to worry about him getting clipped for 4 and dying.
And that was my take too, because I played Arachnite as well, and the guys were like, Dan was saying, you should play him at 60 and add something else. I'm like, but he's squish. Like, he gets hit and he's done. Like, I mean, at least at 100 points, he gets hit and I still have something,
But he can also come back, at 100 points, whereas 60, unless it's 3 damage, and you're really banking on him rolling out, but with outwits and him not having, cosmic or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
He just, it's.
But I do like your take on, if you do have 2 Arachnites, because Arachnite's not cheap either. And you could
no, he's not.
And if you play 2 of them at 60 and have your support and Faust and all that good jazz, that's a good play too. But being that I only had 1, I was all in at 100.
Yeah, I have the 1.
So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he's fun. I wouldn't have changed my tarot or that team for the most part.
It was a good team. And then Zach, love to hear your thoughts on why you used World's Finest at 175. There's a big argument going on that using him at the highest level of competition play at his 60-point line.
So yeah, I mean, if you're playing a more of a swarm team, or something that's got you're just looking to get attacks out there, his 60-point line is still good. You still are able to get the extra free attack off there. You've got the super senses that can't be outwitted. There's still value there, but you don't get the 4 through 6 rollout against, Scarlet Witch. You don't get the 4 through 6 rollout against other bigger pieces, 100-point Rack Knight. And so with that, it just makes you, it takes away some of his value, I feel like, because you only get that rollout against equal or lower point figures, as far as that goes. So yeah, if I was wanting to play more of a swarm team with let's say a, Sicarian Iron Man and 2 Carnage Silver Surfers and a Scarlet Witch and Venom Magneto or whatever, and I'm just trying to get a bunch of attacks off and have him up there because he can basically get the free attack. And if you pop him, he still comes out as either Batman or Superman. You don't get to bring both out, and you get to heal them up or whatever. So there's still value there. I just, for what I was going for with him, and the way I like to play, and kind of the team idea was to just play him at the highest point so that he's harder to score, and just being able to hypersonic across the map and hit something for 6, and then the next turn, if they attack you, you basically get a free attack and then another hit for 5 or 6 or whatever. It just, to me, for what I was going for and the team concept, just really made the most sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically, I talked about this with Jason and Dan at some of our just weekly nights for a little while, trying to figure out, what I wanted to play. And I was like, man, I want to play something that's, solid, but kind of hard to kill and can, if I do get ruined, I don't just get 8 immediately. And it's a little bit forgiving. I think that was the biggest thing about the team, is that even if you aren't the greatest at placement, or you're not necessarily the absolute best as far as calculating everything that's going on in the game, the team that I played definitely has a pretty large margin of forgiveness as long as you can hit a couple of rollouts.
For sure. He's definitely survivable at 175. But I do see their
Can
argument with
confirm.
60, the 60 point, if you have, like Zach said, if you have the surfers and you have a lot of other oomph behind it, it's a threat that you have to take care of. I know Daniel played against a 60 pointer in Ohio, and that was his first piece he went after. And luckily the guy, I believe it was Peter that rolled like a 2 and a 3 on his rollouts. So Daniel got extremely lucky, but that's the name of the game, So
I feel like with him though, you either play him at 175 or you play him at 60. I really don't see a lot of places where he fits in at 125.
Yeah, you either go all in or low point for sure.
Right.
So, thanks guys for joining me. Do you guys have any last thoughts or anything you want to add to the conversation?
I would
Not
just
so
like
much.
to say, I would just like to say thank both of you for playing the game and having this this cast or whatever, for having this conversation and coming on here. Thank you for a great game Sunday to both of you. And I want to thank Frontline Games for hosting the tournament. Like you said at the beginning, it was a really nice, clean store. I felt like the tournament was pretty well ran. It flowed. Like we were just like next round, there wasn't like a whole lot of issues with that. And I just wanted to, thank the players that came for coming to the event. And then also I would like to thank my teammates on
I need to start
Clixed
playing
Off.
the Emmys music right now. Like, first
Well,
I'd like
I
to
mean,
thank my mom and my dad and my Jesus and Tom
I don't know
Cruise.
about all that. I don't know how much that has to do with it, but I did want to thank the venue for hosting. I did want to thank the judge for judging, the players for coming to play, and my teammates for help team building and practice, and just overall being supportive and being a good team. I feel like there's a lot of teams out there. Clixed Off is the best. I'm just gonna say it. So
The gauntlet has been thrown. Dang.
I mean, it's bold statement, but we are on their podcast, so valid.
Nick's trying to watch his words right now.
fair enough.
Yep.
He's like,
Only positivity coming from me.
Nick, you have anything to add?
I mean, not to reiterate 100%, but everyone should have been played. A lot of my local guys were there. Just fun. Everyone had a good time. Everyone there was fun to play against. Nobody was negative in any way. Just overall, as good as I could have hoped. Rather.
Cool. So, well, I appreciate you guys being on the show. I am going to say, again, I'm kind of piggybacking off what both of you said. It was a great event. It was my first event going solo because I'm usually with Daniel and with the guys. And so it was nice.
I was there.
Well, you were there, Zach. But usually it's like I was with Daniel. Like, so it was my first like solo ride by myself, which was really good for me, and it was I enjoyed playing everybody. We talked about all the games and stuff, so learned a lot. Definitely am looking forward to getting some more practice in and changing up some things on my team. But and I appreciate you guys being on the show. And if you're listening, again, if you like this format, if you want to hear more of me kind of interview some of the other state winners. Now, I can't do all 50 because some have already passed, but maybe reach out to some of the other state winners and we could talk about different teams if something kind of off the wall wins, or We've got a lot of states coming up in the next 4 weeks. So if you like it, if you like this kind of thing, message Clixed Off and we'll see if we can format this into something more permanent. So anyway, if you guys have nothing else to add, I guess we'll end with final words. Nick, you're up.
Final words. I think I will see you guys in Kentucky in a few weeks.
Nice. I will not be at Kentucky, but I'll be at Huntsville.
Well, then maybe it's Huntsville then. We'll see.
Okay. Zach, you got anything to add?
Go with your gut. Try not to overthink things. Keep rolling them 5s and 6s.
I knew you were going to say that. And for me, I just want to say, when in doubt, perplex up your attack because you will not roll that 6 when you need that 6. So, again, thanks for everybody listening. And if you want, again, support us at Clixed Off, just visit our page and you'll see all of our content. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.